I'll come across, obviously. I'm just getting some shots. Context. I'm just getting some shots. Context. Look at this camera, it's ace.
That looks amazing.
You've got a dirty face? Why would you have?
You've got a really nice jacket as well.
Thank you. It's a bit rich.
Have you seen this?
What is it?
It's the cold.
Aww.
It's like really chapped my lips.
Cold sore, I just...
Yeah. No, not
just
cold sore.
Oh, Johann! This is Johann. No.
Come through. And they are like pretty strong. They don't lie.
Right, Johann and I are getting some delicious creamy choc and coffee respectively.
Jerry?
Alright.
I feel like when the camera's on, I try and like put on my best behaviour or something. Maybe I'm not it. Inertia Douglas. At the moment, I'm looking for a job, and so it's like it's me going to the job centre, and it's just like I don't know. It's like a stream of consciousness, like when you're writing, but you're drawing.
So what are you working on at the minute?
So at the moment I'm working on these pieces which are, the material that I'm using is myself. It's inspired by a quote by Peter Ackroyd. He's really into like British art and the imagination and stuff like that. He said, the British imagination can only grow in a confined space, and I'm like trying to sort of sift through all my experiences and memories, like confined spaces that have, I don't know, I can think of sort of metaphorical and physical and what have you.
So what does your typical day consist of then?
Get up, have 2 glasses of gin, and then my typical day, like now, I get up at 6:30. Have my breakfast.
Like what time I get up.
Yeah, get up at 6:30. Have my breakfast, which is usually toast. Sometimes avocado because I'm a bit pro. and then I'll come here on the bus and actually the time in between that is really important to me, because I think it's like for you as well, you can use that time travelling to read or listen to music, and
you're like transitioning from
it's just so
being
nice.
asleep to like having a day, like having some kind of and just a physical journey as well.
I love that. I love like travelling. I don't mean like travelling like going to Cambodia or whatever it is, but like just like being in sort of in transit. Yeah.
What are you reading at the minute?
What am I reading? I've got like quite a few books on the go. Yeah, so I've got, my main one is Morris's autobiography, which is fantastic. I'm reading a little bit of Franz Kafka's.
It's good to have a visual aid.
Yeah.
Milk, butter, wrapping paper.
Shopping list. And then bedtime, if I just want some like clear reading, nothing like that I have to think too much about. It's Moomins Midwinter.
Moomins?
Yeah.
Very good.
And then you need like your sort of non-fiction, and that would be either Grayson Perry, is it Playing to the Gallery? No, I think that's it.
That's good. And what happens when you get here? What happens when you get to your space at 8:30?
When I get here, I'll sit down, I'll get into my journal, and I'll sort of have a bit of a plan, not too much of a plan, because if I think about it too much, then I think myself into a corner, and I'll end up like having a nap on the couch.
You just end up in a mood, don't you?
Yeah, just
You
like,
just end up sad.
right, the day's ruined, I've thought about it too much. Yeah. What are you reading?
Well, I was reading this book called How Music Works, but it was really elementary, and because I'm such a pro, I thought it was going to explain. It doesn't even. It's stupid because it doesn't even need explaining. But I was thinking about chords and the way different chords and chord changes make, like lift you or whatever. But it's not. It's a bit too like describing the difference between a noise and a note.
Alright.
It's a bit too like. It's just boring because it's really technical. But of course it's going to be, because I don't mind reading it anyway. But so I'm not really reading that anymore. I've got one.
So you want something that sort of delves into more the sort of psychology of it, maybe?
Yeah, but then it's something that's it can't be explained by science, can it? It's like why certain sounds make the human soul.
Look, surely
Yeah, it can be
you can
explained.
study surely you can do like experiments and study how someone.
You can see like, oh, it's making the chemicals in your brain do this or whatever, but that's no closer to actually. It's like
That's not what you want.
No, that's just science. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And science is just labeling something that's happening that we can't really.
Yeah.
We can't comprehend it. It's just experience.
So what do you want?
So, I don't. I just want to make more music. And I just want to listen to more music.
Okay.
But I felt like maybe I need to know more. Like you get that by sitting at a keyboard and playing it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Guess what that is?
Eyebrows.
Yeah. I'm gonna carry on this next one.
Do you have a draw?
Doodle.
Yeah, alright, I'll class that as.
Yeah, I wouldn't call it like this is what I dismiss my drawing as like. Oh well, I write my name and do swirls and like I draw like women's faces or weird mangled faces, and they're always faces, you know. I never draw like objects.
Yeah.
I always only draw faces, but yeah, definitely, yeah, I do draw. And like today we had like a meeting at work, and obviously it was pretty boring.
Yeah.
And I was just like doing swirls on my meeting minutes. No, I still find it a really soothing process. Let's briefly talk about the actual process of drawing.
Okay.
Like I've just said, because it is so therapeutic and so like. I mean, I find it frustrating because I'm thinking, well, I can't draw this as good as I'd want because I've internalised that like art, you know, art at
the
secondary
institution
school.
like fucking does that to you, yeah.
The institution, man.
The institution, man. Yeah. No, I think it's not really taught like how you draw. It's not really something you can teach. It's something that you have to feel.
It's your own sensibility, isn't it? It's your own. Like, yeah.
Yeah, it's all you. Like, it's got to come from you. Nobody can like teach you how to draw. It's the same thing. Like when I was on that pottery course, never done pottery in my life, and it was something that I couldn't be taught. It was something that I had to like physically
way
feel
through.
my way through, yeah. And I'd say it's the same for drawing. Like once you get into that flow, and it can take me a while sometimes.
Sorry. Serious moment.
I don't know. It's like meditation. You
get in the zone.
Yeah, you get in the zone, and it's like being highly like concentrated, like highly like focused.
Yeah. In tune with like.
Yeah, you're like really
the form
like.
of things, like the way what things are.
And your energy is like concentrated into those lines that you make, and it's I mean, I've given myself this advice, and it is to get into the lines when I draw. Like you have to like really channel yourself into those lines that you make, because if you're thinking about like, I don't know, what you're making for tea tonight or something, you're not in the moment,
you're not in the zone.
You're not in the zone. You're not in the zone, man.
Just I find that, I don't know whether you do this, but all my drawings I've also internalised beauty conventions, and that every face I ever draw is really symmetrical and has huge lips and big eyes and a small nose and strong eyebrows and strong cheekbones and a strong jawline.
And why do you think that is?
Magazines and pictures of beautiful women and men everywhere. Definitely.
Yeah, like Virgin on bondage gear.
Yeah.
Yeah. I also doodle stuff like this.
I'm gonna have to manually zoom it, manually focus it. So like, dissect this for us then, Johann.
Well, I can't.
It just comes out of me.
It's just like when you're like planning your day and you just start doodling. It's probably quite offensive, actually. I was on the internet the other day.
Yeah.
And I was reading about fluoride.
Fluorider.
Yeah, no, fluoride.
Right, what's that?
So it's a chemical that they.
Oh, fluoride.
Fluoride, yeah.
I thought you were saying fluoride, like fluorider.
So, do you know much about fluoride? Am I pronouncing it right?
Well, yeah, but I just say
Fluoride.
Fluoride, because it's
Fluoride.
like.
So, fluoride.
Yeah.
Fluorider. They used it in the Holocaust, and they put it in all the water to like. I can't think of it.
It strengthens
a better
people's
word.
teeth, doesn't it?
Doesn't.
Well, no.
Apparently it doesn't.
But that's what they. I think.
All toothpaste, well, most toothpaste have fluoride in.
Yeah.
Fruit and veg that you get, that's like covered in fluoride. What else? It's in all the water. It like controls your serotonin. And what's the other one?
Dopamine.
Yeah. Those levels.
Adrenaline.
So
Noradrenaline.
when you take drugs and you have a come down, it's like basically affecting that. And that's what fluoride does. It upsets the balance, and it just completely like numbs it.
Fucking hell.
So
Make everyone depressed.
apparently, if you could send a box to your younger self, in order to help yourself in your development, a little bit quicker, so you can get there a little bit quicker. You get to choose one book, a quote, a piece of music, and a film.
Looking
What would you?
what
percentage?
age? What age am I sending it back to?
Any age. It's up to you.
Oh God. So what? A book.
So you got a book, a
quote,
piece of music, a quote,
piece of
a
music,
film.
a film. To my. I don't know. I don't think.
Why not send it to the future? You can do that as well.
True. Yeah. I think that in some ways to get through, like time, the course of time is. Like sometimes you would have taken. That's just how long it takes because that's how events pan out. I think a book. Well, I probably send it to like my 15, 16, 17-year-old self, probably, which isn't even that long ago. Just because I was so like overwhelmed with the world and I just really didn't get it and it was just like horrible. You know, when you realise.
I didn't even know that you were having a bad time.
It was after I left Oakbank, so not 15. But I think when I was 15, like, there was hints of it, you know, like, just being really bitter about the world, being like, why is everyone else like this, why am I like this? Because you just think you're alone, like, you just think you're the only one, don't you?
Yeah.
And I think my nan was really good because she helped me. Like, she's always sent me quotes and books and stuff to read.
They're good at nans, aren't they?
Yeah, bless them. But no, they're not old and they're not cute old ladies. They're amazing, strong, frigging sage people. Okay, a book. I'd maybe send something that was like, because I read like Camus and stuff and Sartre when I was that age, and it just made me more anxious and existentialist. Right, but I'd maybe send myself. Because I think my awakening in terms of like feminism and being a woman and realising, because I always just thought that like everything's universal, like there's this like universal experience and these men have written about it, but it's like, well, it's not just that, like there is, I've read things since that it's like, Jesus, being a woman is like, whoa. Do you know what I mean? And I've come to terms with that later, almost, so with that in mind, the book would probably be something similarly kind of angst-ridden, but like by a woman maybe. So
that's interesting.
I'm trying to think of a specific book.
It's interesting that you'd like choose to send yourself something like angst-ridden as opposed to like, you know, applicate yourself. Like,
yeah, like this is send myself
okay.
like a self-help book.
Yeah, it's all gonna be okay.
But that's it. It's cathartic, isn't it? When you read something that speaks to you, that's what you need. To say that someone else is experiencing what you've experienced.
Yeah, that can mean the world.
There's an author called Kate Zambrino who I've read a couple of her books. I'd maybe send myself Green Girl by her, because I don't know, in some ways it's really cliche. No, I think it would have annoyed me. Right, you can't ask me questions like this because I'll just say like 5 things and that's not allowed. Piece of music.
Would it be something classical?
Possibly, yeah. Or I could send myself my own music that I've created. I'd probably send, because then it'd be like, because back then I was just constantly berating myself for not having produced enough, for not being like artistic enough, for not having like written an amazing song. And I used to write lyrics all the time and I just thought they were shit. And to send myself a piece of music that I've made and produced properly, that would be really good, I think.
Yeah.
That sounds really... I don't mean it in a narcissistic way.
No.
I don't mean it like, look how good you are. I mean, I do mean it like that actually. I do mean it like, you're not a piece of shit. You've actually ended up, you've got through it. Like you get through it and you make something beautiful.
Don't you think like ingrained in us is this idea that we're not allowed to like look at ourselves, we're not allowed to be like, I mean not narcissistic but like self-observing and sort of like appreciative of like what we look like, or I don't know. That was just something that came to me just then when you said that, because it's sort of like,
there's almost,
I don't know, it's seen as like socially acceptable to be like self-deprecating.
yeah, it might even be just like a working class thing in some ways.
Yeah.
Or a middle class thing, and like just not seeing. It's the same kind of thing that would make you like, you know, at school you're just made to feel like all the time you can't show that you're actually interested in anything. If you show that you're passionate about something, you're showing that you're like, it's just like people will pounce on it and be like, you fucking weirdo. Whoa, who's this person? Who does this guy think he is?
Big shot.
People would, any little thing, and if you were clever or if you were good in class, it'd be like, this person thinks they're something. Do you know what I mean? And it's a similar thing to that thing. I'm trying to think of a film that I'd send back to myself.
Yeah, that's a hard one for me, because there are so many different films that I responded to different points.
Times, because your taste, I think with film, my taste is just like really developed in the last few years. I didn't really watch films while I was at uni, because I was just like, I just wouldn't have gone to the cinema and paid to see a film. I just wouldn't have done that. And I felt like watching films was like a waste of time, because it wasn't studying, it was just like, whereas I don't feel like that at all now, because it's completely like artistic and everything, and it's important to just watch and experience things. So with that in mind, I don't know, because there's certain films that now have had like a massive impact on me, and I think stylistically they're really beautiful, but I don't know if I'd have appreciated it back then. But maybe.
So right now, what are you responding to?
Beautiful, just like beautiful films that be like beautiful. So like Tarkovsky, and like and like even have you seen Drive?
Yeah.
It's not Drive, but Nicholas Winton Refn, the director, made another film. Ryan Gosling, and it's called Only God Forgives, and it's
I'd quite like to see that.
It's like super violent.
Yeah.
But it's just like the whole film is like a painting. It's mannered. It's like there's very little dialogue, and it's just the lighting, everything about it is. It's almost like, you know, Japanese theatre or something, where the point isn't to be like it's just not realism. It's the opposite of realism, and trying to be like realistic and be like dialogue, and you know they try to use as little dialogue as possible. I think the SD card might be full. Yeah, there's only 1 minute 50 seconds left. I don't know when it caught offence. Hopefully not too early. And the quote would be, "You've got to be cynical about being cynical." Like you might, like you're in the depths of cynicism and depression about the world, but the world doesn't care. The world, like nothing. Oh, that's the film I'd sent myself, maybe Unonki Door, which is like, which is a French. It's The Man Who Sleeps, and it's like a film with subtitles. It's just but I'll link you that as well. We'll talk about it. Yeah. And that quote, because it's like you've got to be cynical about being cynical. Like you've got to be cynical about having this cynical attitude, because it doesn't get you anywhere. Like you're cynical about everything, so you've also got to be cynical about being cynical, because otherwise, I think it's self-explanatory. I don't know how to explain it. Because otherwise you just dig yourself into a hole and you just can't see any good in anything. So Shit, that means it's not.